'Cause even in the darkness, even in the darkest light, 'cause even in the darkness, I can see your light. Julia Samoylova is back. Last year during the first semifinal, she was singing in Crimea, but this year she'll be singing in Lisbon. Shall we talk about it? Let's do this! She won't break, and Julia, no you won't. Our girl is strong. She's endured a very dramatic year. She was supposed to go to Eurovision, and she was banned from Ukraine. Then fans said all sorts of nasty things about her. At times it got very personal. They called her a geopolitical pawn. They called her a puppet. They called her overly ambitious. They called her an agent of the state. And through it all, she just wanted to sing at Eurovision. Well, girl, your dream is coming true. I was lucky enough to present her with her birthday cake just a few days ago at the Moscow Eurovision party. She was so excited, not for the cake, but to perform her new song in front of the Russian audience. They were very supportive of her, which was really nice to see. Yes, the song itself, the studio cut. Let's start with that. I actually quite like it. Much stronger than Flame is Burning. I think it's weird mix in a good way of very regional post-Soviet Russian music, but then also kind of electro-Western leaning. It's straddling in a very interesting way. I like the message of the song. It's an interesting take on perseverance. People often sing about perseverance. I mean, it's the most kind of common theme at Eurovision after love. But this feels somehow, I don't know, more real because of everything she's been through, you know, from the spinal muscular atrophy to being banned from Eurovision, you know, to the nasty taunts that come from being different, etc., etc. But, you know, she's just kept on going. She's like, I want to be a singer. I'm going to push through this. And she's done that. So it's quite touching. Yeah. Music video. I love when she becomes the mountain. Very Kim Jong-un, if we discussed. I asked her what that was about. She was like, I don't know either. So she has a good sense of humor. Yeah. And so that was really refreshing. The live performance at the Moscow Eurovision party, inside the shopping mall, honestly, it sounded fine. I'm not kidding. I'm not just saying that. It sounded fine. Yeah. The YouTube clips, not fine. So I don't know if this is an issue of mixing, if it's a digital thing, if maybe we heard the properly mixture of the backing vocals and the vocal. I don't know what went on, but it was all very strange. I should point out that the backing vocalists from the Moscow party are not her real backing vocalists. Her real backing vocalists are two Israeli women who live in Germany. So, and they co-wrote the song. And so they will definitely be more precious and take great care with this. Anyways, let's go to you.
So, I mean, it's a disingenuous peace song from Russia, but they do this very well. It's like their go-to genre that has done incredibly, and I also think If I Won't Break wasn't being sung by Yulia, if it was a Polina Gagarina or a Dina Garipova, we would have like a much better reaction. But equally, both those songs got a really negative rap off the beat, and everyone was like, they're not going to do well. Massive glow up on stage, so I think there is room for growth here. Yes, the live performance wasn't great, but equally, if you go from that heavily auto-tuned studio cut to a live, there'll be some disparity. I tend to agree with you. I mean, like, there was a Sanna Nielsen mic-only track when she did Undo, where she sounded awful, and she was fine. So I tend to, equally with you, lean towards there was some, like, vocal mixing issue at work, because I agree, in the verses, even in the YouTube clips, she sounds pretty good. It's just the chorus leaves a little bit to be desired. So yeah, and actually the song has started growing on me. Initially it was kind of an ironic like of like, haha, I like the song from Russia, but actually the mountains, the beat, I don't like. It's very anthemic. You can get behind it, and it's like, I didn't like Mikkel's back at all, but I see this having the same anthemic, like, big quality. I mean, simple message, perseverance, but also from a talking standpoint for the commentators around Europe. They're going to talk about her and do a big old sympathy vote for what happened last year. So I think Russia are going to make the final with this. Yeah, and I think the vocal will upscale as well.
Yeah, blazing a trail to the final.
I do think, we often hear the Melfest vocal only things, and that's different because of the way that they're recorded. Like, this was somebody stripping a YouTube recording and then doing this and that, and
on like iMovie or something.
You can't really trust that. I mean, obviously it wasn't quite there, but again, there are reasons. I don't think we will see Julia's full performance and potential until we get to Lisbon.
Yeah.
Again, we mentioned Polina Gagarina. That was her staging designer is doing Julia's staging.
Yeah.
So, there's already a good team behind her. And I do think, I'm glad that the Russians did have faith and that they did keep on going with Julia. I think, I love Julia. I think that she's really fun. She seems like a very nice person who does genuinely just want to sing at Eurovision. And, you hear things, you see things online, trolls talking about her. I heard about a preview party in the UK that people were booing her when she came on, which is just ridiculous.
Oh, yeah, that's really petty.
Grow up. Like, this woman just wants to sing and just let her perform. It doesn't matter what the country does or what you think about the country. At the end of the day, this is this. And I think that's kind of part of the problem with how I look at I Won't Break, because I can't really remove the song, which I don't think is very good, really, from Julia, because I think if I were to just look at her by herself, and then I do prefer it to Flame is Burning, but I just think that there's so much intrinsically linked in there that it's hard to view this one objectively in a way. But I would say I think that it runs out of steam a little bit towards the end. Obviously the big notes towards the end won't be done by Julia, because in the actual studio version, she's sort of like singing under that.
Yeah.
So I think that's obviously important. The backing vocalist will be doing the work there. So again, that might be smart. If she can't do it, then fair play. She's being clever and she knows how to make that work. I have faith. I'm keeping the faith to Mariga Ceceladze. And I wish Julia all the best.
You know what? Staging-wise, this is being done by Polina Gagarina's person, and I feel like he gets high impact. In the video, you don't see her wheelchair, and she becomes the mountain. She's meant to be like, I don't know, she's floating almost. She's floating on her own. She's this otherworldly being, and then she becomes a mountain. So I could almost see them pulling a Bjork, like at the Olympics, where her dress unfurled and covered the entire stage. Estonia can afford the projections.
Because they've bought it all, the cheap ones, yeah.
Well, Russia can afford a few of them. And so I bet you there's going to be something magnificent in the staging. Like, the entire stage is going to be covered, and you're just going to see Julia's face, and she's going to become like a mountain on the stage. I don't know. I feel like they're going to do something big, because they're like, y'all kicked us out, we're going to come back with a bang. I wouldn't put anything past them, and I'm looking forward to it. That's why I love Russia. They make it bigger and better and over the top and wild. People complain about the stage in Moscow being too big. I think, and performers disappearing.
Yeah.
I think that broadcasters were complaining because they couldn't afford to have those stages. There's not the public will, because you can have a big stage and they'll then zoom in on the artist.
I think my only concern with it, and it's sort of what we know now as well, is that they almost seem to be preparing to challenge in 2019, not to host in 2019. And fair enough, different broadcaster, but when you just get that sense of feeling like they're doing this as an obligation in a way as well. But they've supported Julia, so it's hard to say what's happening with it.
The thing is, if you're not top 5 in Russia, if you go to Eurovision and you're not top 5, it's like whatever. Fans were telling me this weekend, like the difference between 7th and 5th is so big. So they want her to do well. So they'll be aiming for the top 5, no doubt.
Yeah. And let's see what the staging brings.
Yeah. So let's go around and give our scores out of 10 along with a justification. I'm giving this an 8. Yes, that is 2 away from a 10. I gave the score based on the studio cut. I just think there's so much potential here. There's a lot wrapped up in this. We're laughing because my cat's about to jump out the window. But don't worry, the window is shut, so he's just playing hide and seek behind the curtain. There's a lot of potential here, and I know Russia will go big. I like the studio cut. When it comes on, I do not skip it. I like the backstory. I like that commentators will whisper, she was banned from Eurovision last year, but now she's back pursuing her dream. People will get that very quickly and instantly. Because the Crimea, I feel like people aren't talking about Crimea as much anymore.
No, it's no. In a Eurovision context, it's not as relevant, I suppose. It's still obviously a relevant topic,
completely.
But it is one of those where it's not going to hit hard as much.
As hard last year. So that is my score.
I mean, Russia has weathered so many political scandals at Eurovision. It hasn't dented their qualifying record or ability, and I don't expect Julia to kind of suffer from that. I think she's going through That being said, my initial reaction was based on the studio cuts, the vocalism in there, so I did give a 3.5 out of 10. Because I think while I did earlier compare this to Polina Gagarina, A Million Voices, this is not. But it's cut from the same cloth, and I think Yulia will do great things on stage. The Russians have the team behind them, but sort of musically it is obviously behind quite a few entries this year.
We, of course, are not the only Wiwi bloggers. Oh my god.
no.
In fact, there's one right here.
I'm giving this a 5 out of 10. Yeah, I've said pretty much everything I need to say about this one. I do think that I hope it qualifies. I don't know whether it quite will though, because even though it's in semi-final 2, it is weaker. I just worry because there's a lot of... We saw in 2016, there are people who apparently like to vote Russia down.
Yeah.
And it depends whether or not... I don't want it to get through on a sympathy vote, but also we've seen that doesn't necessarily always work at Eurovision. You know, it didn't work for PKN. It did work for Monika Kozinska, though. And, you know, it wasn't sympathy so much. You know what I'm trying to say?
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
The thing is, I think that...
It tells the story.
Exactly. And I think Russia, like Poland, has a diaspora.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of the factor here. Russia, I don't see a scenario, unless the jurors all rank this like last, I feel like the televote is so strong from Russia, it will get through.
Yeah.
Peter Nalich went through, lost and forgotten.
gosh.
In any case... The overall global average from all the Wiwi bloggers from New Zealand to the UK via the USA, Spain, Italy, Bulgaria, 5.75.
It's low, but it's not that bad. I mean, I could imagine it have been worse almost. I don't know what she got for Flame is Burning, but I think this is higher.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that wasn't hard.
I mean, this got a lot of 6s and 7s. It's just that it also got a lot of 3s and 4s. So make of that what you will. In any case, that's what we think. What do you think? Are you loving Julia Samoylova? Do you like her song I Won't Break? Let us know in the comments down below.
Please make sure to like the video and subscribe and hit that notification bell. Ding, ding, ding.
And make sure to comment and let us know what you think. Visit wiwibloggs.com because there is a website behind all of this. We're on all the favourite social media channels, so go there and follow us. And buy the t-shirts if you want to look cute at the contest this year.
And I've just realised that my score of 8 was dropped because it was the highest. Because it was the highest score. The low was a 3. In any case, spasiba bashoya. We'll see you later.
Bye.